is Chloe, and I'm a third-year student at UCSD. I would say my CO turning point happened my sophomore year of college, where I was just entering the year just feeling very lost and confused spiritually, and all of a sudden I was kind of plugged into this church community, this college ministry like CO, and I was like surrounded by like the other extreme of just people who were just earnestly and eagerly like seeking the Lord in every day and just seeing the gospel in everything that they do and how they live their life. It was just extremely impactful for me to see that and just to be invited into that so willingly and openly was just something that really showed me a small picture of God's love and was just extremely impactful for my personal walk with the Lord and my pursuit of Him through college. And yes.
Hey everybody, my name is Sean Lewis Clark. I go by Lou. I'm a fourth year electrical engineering major, and my turning point was in the summer of 2019 at Alpha Project, also known as AP. Before that, I've been going to CO basically every week, bringing Bible study, but it was kind of emotion, and that's what most of my life was. My dad's a pastor, and it was just emotions. It really didn't stick, didn't get it. But that summer, I got into a house for 2 weeks with people who were just hungry for God, and it just changed me. I wanted to pray, I wanted to read the Bible, I wanted to get to know God more. I didn't even want to leave, to be honest. But it really just it was a turning point. And after that, I was so on fire. I was ready to do stuff, ready to get connected, ready to meet people. So that is my turning point. And thank you for listening to my story.
Hey guys, my name is Sean, and my CO turning point came my junior year of college at San Diego State University. So I had just gotten back from an 8-month-long internship at the Walt Disney Company when my college mentor, Sam Collins, reconnected with me and asked me to join a discipleship group with a couple guys who had just recently committed their lives to Jesus. So thinking I was a Christian at the time, I thought it was an easy decision, and I joined gladly. But a couple months into that discipleship group, I began to see that there was one outlier in the group. One guy who was not living his life fully for Jesus. And that guy was me. My life looked radically different than these men who were actually following Christ with all of their hearts. So Jesus pursued me through these men. And eventually, Jesus won me over because these men were just so contagious, so joyful, so at peace with who God had made them to be. So within those couple months, I ended up making some lordship decisions to prove that I actually wanted to follow Jesus, and He really captured my heart.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Joe, and I'm a recent graduate from Point Loma Nazarene University. My CO turning point happened a couple years ago when I just transferred to Point Loma, and I had been looking for a college fellowship, and I happened to get connected with Campus Outreach through one of its partnering churches, Harbor City. It was then that one of the staff had invited me into a discipleship group, and at this discipleship group, I had met up with 4 to 5 different girls, and we met up on a weekly basis. And in this group, and at this very intentional time, we talked about life, but we also talked about how the gospel intercedes with every single area of our life. And I think at that point, that was truly the turning point for me, understanding that the gospel is not just some idea, but it actually is in the very fabric of our nature. And so that was such an awesome thing, and it really allowed me to kind of understand the mission of CO about building up labors for the Lord and really seeing what Jesus has done for us and what we want to do in response, and what He has called us to do in response. And so I've just been so blessed by the ministry, and ever since then I have been able to be so equipped as a leader, and I have been able to just have so many tools and resources to now share this goodness, to share how we have been created, and it's just been so awesome. And so as CO continues to evolve and to grow in such a unique time, I am so hopeful, and I'm so excited to see how Campus Outreach continues to build up new leaders.
Welcome to the Campus Outreach San Diego 2020 Virtual Fundraiser. We're so glad you could join us. My name is Kevin Johnson. We're looking forward to showcasing all that God is doing here on the college campus in San Diego. If you're new or just unfamiliar with who we are, Campus Outreach San Diego is a local Christian college ministry with a mission to glorify God by building Christ-centered leaders on the college campus for the renewal of San Diego and beyond. Each year, for the past 8 years, CO San Diego has hosted an annual fundraiser. This year, we are hosting our first virtual fundraiser. As much as we'd love to be in person, a virtual fundraiser allows for more people to join from the comfort of their own home. A huge welcome to our viewers here in San Diego and the Southern California area, and an even bigger welcome to those viewing in from all around the country. If you happen to sign up early, you should have received in the mail our fundraiser booklet. And as you log on, please let us know you're here. Our staff will be here to chat and connect with you. We would love to hear from you. CO San Diego would not exist without the countless prayers, words of encouragement, donations, and love from our ministry partners. All that you hear tonight would not be possible without you. And speaking of tonight, our goal is to raise $30,000. You can find the giving link on the page. It's secure, it is simple, and if you need support help, we are here to assist you in any way that we can. Even if you prefer to mail in your donation, you can do that as well. After I'm done here, you can even email me directly. We are thankful and excited for the gifts that have already come in. We are well along our way of hitting our goal, but we need your help to meet the need of impacting college students. You will hear more about our needs later in the broadcast from our Executive Director, Gijo Joseph. Any gifts that you give will help us continue to see Jesus transform lives. What you can expect to hear tonight is how we are joining what Jesus is doing already in our city. Our theme tonight is Turning Points. 2020 has been a watershed year for many reasons. From the COVID-19 virus reshaping our everyday lives, to needed conversations surrounding race and injustice, and a presidential election, to name a few, we are at a turning point. Yet, with so much change, we continue to look to Christ's unchanging hand. You will hear about two kinds of turning points. First, a turning point upwards towards God and the gospel of grace. Second, you will hear about turning points outward towards the world. CO San Diego was planted out of a heart to see college students here in San Diego experience turning points in their relationship with God. Back in 2011, our team had our own turning point when we visited San Diego from the Southeast. While filming the short video you're about to see, God moved us towards wanting to help college students much like He did for each of us in college, along their spiritual journeys towards Jesus. This video helps remind us for the need for gospel proclamation here on the college campus in San Diego. Here's the video.
I mean, I'd say like agnostic. I believe that there's like a higher power itself, that there is something, but I wouldn't say a specific religion is right in that sense.
I believe in God, but I don't ever go to church.
I don't really believe in everything the Bible says. I just know that there's a God out there watching over us. Everybody needs some sort of scapegoat just to get through every day. I think that's the purpose of religion.
I was raised Jewish, so that is my religion. I think it's just about being happy with who you are.
I don't really believe in organized religion whatsoever. And as for God, I'm not sure. I believe more of it's a clockmaker. He just made it and walked away, let us work. I don't think He's watching us or anything like that.
I don't believe in God. No. I think the whole principles of religion are good, the Ten Commandments, I think they make good morals and, cause good beliefs in that sense.
I'm not really sure. I believe that there's probably something out there, but I'm not 100% set on what exactly I do or don't believe.
I don't really have a strict beliefs or values to religion, but there's definitely something out there.
I'm not a huge religious fanatic or anything like that. But I do have beliefs, and I do believe that there is a higher being and there is God. I do believe that. So I don't follow a particular religion. I feel like I'm spiritual, not religious. I haven't figured it all out yet. I believe in heaven. I don't believe in hell. Because I've been wondering for years, so people who don't deserve to go to heaven, where do they go? Starting to think reincarnation.
Not necessarily that my religion is correct more so than anyone else's religion. That's just how I grew up. What I was raised to believe is right, and what I honestly believe is right.
Hi everyone, I'm Berkeley and I'm on the executive team here with CO San Diego. And I just love that video because it honestly reminds me of one reason that I came to San Diego and came on staff with CO, because there are so many students that don't have any spiritual background that come into college really searching and not having any frame of reference of who Jesus is. But then we've also found that out here, there's another group of students that do have a Christian background, but are really trying to make their spiritual journey their own when they get to college. And so today we have Kayla here with us. Kayla, thanks so much for joining us. So Kayla, tell us a little bit about your turning upward toward God.
Yeah, so my turning point happened my sophomore year of college, and currently I'm a senior at UCSD. And when I look back at where my mindset was then versus my headspace now, completely different. Like externally, yeah, I kind of look the same, but internally, totally different.
Awesome. That's awesome to hear. So even though your turning point was in college, you grew up going to church. Tell me a little bit about that. What was that like growing up?
Yeah, so I like to describe that time as like I was wandering around a dark forest, and if God's the sun, I didn't know that the sun was there. Like I did know he was there, but I didn't feel the need to go out and search for him, and I didn't even want to. And so I kind of had that mental view towards God up until starting, I guess, like my elementary age, and then ending my sophomore year of college. And when I entered college, I just had a lot of fun. You know, I was just trying to have fun. I had so much freedom, and with that amount of freedom, I made a lot of decisions that had a lot of repercussions, such as bad grades. I was so sleep deprived, and I was just feeling really sad and isolated. And ultimately, it's because looking back, I was trying to fix these deep, eternal problems with temporary solutions.
Thanks for sharing that. So, Kayla, how would you say that this dark and tragic place that you found yourself in eventually transformed into a turning point in your life?
Yeah, so going back to that, my sophomore year, so my freshman year was like the darkest time for sure, but that darkness definitely continued into my second year. And when I started that fall, I told myself and all my friends, I was like, okay, new year, new me, it's gonna be different this year. So I decided one way I wanted to make it a new year was by looking for new friends. So then I started going to church and CO because I was like, well, these people seem like they have it together. They seem like they know the answers to like having it all, quote unquote, like good friends, good grades, good life. I was like, okay, for sure. But then I started going. I didn't like it. I felt like I didn't fit in. I felt like everyone was this type of way and I was just over here. But then God kept pulling me back, and I realized, like looking back, it was because at that time, I was at the center, so I would judge everything based on how it affected me, how I fit in, what I could get from the experience. But then basically my first turning point was winter retreat, and I didn't even want to go, but basically I ended up going anyways, and I had a series of conversations that basically taught me how little I actually knew about Jesus, and it kind of started establishing the link between my head knowledge and my heart transformation. And my second big turning point was a few weeks later. I was driving the car with my friend, and that was like the first time that I had ever called myself a Christian and really embraced it as the root of my identity versus drawing from other places or other sources. And so I guess like when I look back, because now it's been a year and a half, and it's not like the walk's gotten any easier. If anything, it's gotten harder, and I get a lot of decision fatigue sometimes, trying to constantly make good decisions that point me towards God. I think of my life kind of going back to the forest analogy. When I didn't know God, I was just wandering around, and I fell into a hole. And I didn't even know it was a hole because I'd been wandering around for my whole life. But then starting with the first turning point, God gave me the map of his gospel and the Holy Spirit. And with that map, he led me to the ladder to climb out, which is Jesus, the death and sacrifice of his son. And I got back into the light. And inevitably, sometimes I'll start wandering around again, get lost, confused, and I fall back into that hole. But now God pulls me up faster and faster. And I think that's the greatest theme of my life, is getting saved over and over again.
Kayla, that is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that story. And that story really does resonate with a lot of different students who might have a church background, but really get to college and realize, is this really my own? So thanks so much for sharing that. So next up we have Sam. He is going to be interviewing a CO staff guy at my alma mater, Clemson University. So Sam, take it away.
Thanks, Berkeley. It's amazing to hear about the turning points that are going on these winter retreats. Hi guys, I'm Sam Collins. I'm on the exec team with CO San Diego. Thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. I want to remind you that at any point in the evening, you can go to www.cosandiego.org/mogive. There should be some links blinking around here to be able to give and contribute to all these turning points that God is doing in San Diego. Well, back in 2012, I moved out to San Diego from South Carolina, and I was part of campus outreach there. And one thing that is unique within CO is our connection across the globe to other campus outreaches. And we wanted to connect a little bit with one of my good friends back in South Carolina, Landon Tucker, who's on staff at Clemson. So we got him here on Zoom. Hey, Landon, how you doing? Introduce yourself to the people watching us tonight.
Hey, how's it going, y'all? I'm Landon, like Sam said, been on staff here at Clemson for the past 6 years. Went to Western Carolina University, graduated from there May of 2014.
That's awesome. Thanks for joining us. I got to know Landon for really the first time back in 2014. He did a summer internship with us and moved in with all us single at the time staff guys. Tell us, Landon, just a little bit about that experience. And then I know that, it really had an impact on where you are today.
Yeah, I would say that the turning point for me in college that led me to come on staff was the trip out to San Diego. That summer, 2014, I'm eternally grateful for it. I would say that doing life with the staff team out there and them really modeling what it looked like to be sold out for Jesus, I would say that really helped me become secure in my identity with Christ. And so because of that, I would say I've become unbelievably passionate about sharing the gospel with other people and even raising up the next generation of leaders on the college campus. I think for me, I was blown away about the joy that comes with giving my life away.
That's amazing to hear. I love how these experiences that you get to have in a different environment really do shape the rest of your life even. And was there maybe just one turning point from that summer conversation or something that really changed the trajectory of your life?
Yeah, I would say that one of the most significant conversations I had with one of the guys out west was with KJ. We just got done on the campus sharing our faith, and never forget, this was probably the most simple thing, but yet most profound. KJ, I asked him, I said, hey man, what led you to come out here and come on staff with campus outreach? What made you come out here? And he said, Jesus is worth it. And so for me, I would say that statement really helped solidify that Jesus really is worth giving our life away. And he really is worth moving somewhere to a different context and doing college ministry. And so even, campus outreach was the vehicle that God used my sophomore year of college to change my life. And I would say that, sophomore year was a massive turning point. And really that summer coming out and doing life with y'all guys and even learning to have boldness and share my faith, that really has made a massive, massive impact on my life. And I'm eternally grateful for that.
That's good. That was back in 2014. And for some reason, we just can't get rid of this guy. You came back out here last fall with a group of students. Tell us a little bit about why'd you come to San Diego outside of the weather and the beach and everything, but why did you bring a group of students back out here?
Yeah, so I would say that I'm sold on that the college campus really is the most strategic place to do ministry, and I would say it really is a diverse place. And so I really wanted to come out there and be a blessing to the team and the students out there, but not only to be a blessing to them, I really wanted to be blessed by the staff and the students. And I would say that I wanted my guys that I led here at Clemson, I wanted them to learn how to do ministry in a different context. I wanted them to see what God is doing on the West Coast and even see the partnership that we do have with the campus outreach team out there. And I would say that it really did make a massive impact on their lives.
Yeah, tell us, one of the reasons I like to host trips like that is because I know that it's going to have a big impact, not only here in San Diego, and you guys did get to come with us and share the gospel and make an impact in San Diego, but also in their lives. So what was the impact on the young men that did get to come out?
Yeah, I would say that the guys that I brought out, I would say that for them, they weren't really thinking about doing vocational ministry after college, or even doing a year or two internship with Campus Outreach or another organization, and even living on mission. I would say that for them, exposing them to somewhere different than the Bible Belt, being here, a lot of them had never been out of the Southeast, and never really been out of North or South Carolina. And so for them, doing ministry out there, I really do believe, even talking with them after, it has helped them become super, super bold in sharing their faith, and even learning what it looks like to live their life on mission day in and day out, not just while they're in college, involved with Campus Outreach, but what does it look like Jesus and share Jesus for the rest of their lives? And so Campus Outreach, that providing trips like that are unbelievably impactful for students and even staff, getting to see and be a small part of what God's doing on a trip like that. So yeah, I would say that a lot of them, even to this day, they'd say that was one of the most impactful trips they've ever been on.
That's a huge impact, a real turning point for a lot of young men. Landon, is there anything else that you wanted to add to our viewers tonight?
Yeah, I would just say that when you give to Campus Outreach San Diego, it's not just impacting the students or the staff in Southern California, but I would say that it's making a massive impact on people like me in South Carolina. And so just want to say thank you so much for giving to them, but your giving is not just left there. It really is making even more of an impact than you would think. So just want to say thanks for all that you do in partnering with us in furthering the gospel together on the college campus and to the ends of the earth.
Well, thank you, Landon, for coming. It's always such an encouragement to have people come and to visit and to partner with us in mission in person. And we got to hear about it, but now we want to see it. So to the folks at home, here's a little recap video of what was going on last fall here in San Diego.
The idea of this fall break trip for the students and even myself is to really pick our heads up to see what God is doing across the United States with the San Diego team. So we want to come and be a blessing for them, to their team and their students, be an encouragement to them, and even learn what it looks like to do ministry in a different context, being that San Diego really is a different culture compared to Clemson. So we want to see what all God is doing over here on the West Coast and even get to be a small piece of it. So that's kind of the idea of this trip.
So this morning we actually had the opportunity to go to the campus of the University of California at San Diego, one of the campuses of CO San Diego, and we just had the opportunity to go out in groups just to share our faith and to try to have just spiritual gospel conversations.
So we got to get lunch with Jerry, got to hear a little bit about Jerry. He was from Taiwan, and he had never heard the gospel. And then got to talk about some of his interests, and actually anime came up, and David got to share a little bit about like just a fondness for anime and just the balance of good and evil that's a theme throughout anime. And so we were able to kind of transition that, got to talk about Jesus, who's like a real life superhero who existed, which is even better. So really incredible. And that really seemed to click with Jerry, and so hopefully he'll start coming around Campus Outreach San Diego.
Yeah, me and Landon got a chance to sit down and talk to this guy named Aiden. We ended up asking him, like, did he have a spiritual background? And he said, yeah. Like he said, community service is one way he's serving others, which is why he believes that he's a Christian. Basically what he was describing was a work-based salvation. You serve others and do these good things to make it to heaven. But in reality, that all falls short. And then I ended up asking Landon, what does he think? What does Landon think it means to be a Christian? And Landon basically laid out the gospel and laid out that the fact that Christianity is about a relationship with Jesus, that we serve because we're Christians. We're not Christians because we serve. And so we're Christians because we have a relationship with Jesus, and the fact that Jesus died for our sins and we don't have to work our way to God is basically what he was describing was a work-based salvation.
Yeah, I don't know. I think about like, I do think it is a privilege in the sense that the opportunity to be broken in my like wages of trespasses and sins, and for the Lord to kind of redeem my life and to bring me here to I think one of the most diverse places in the world, which is a college campus, and to see a generation of men raised up that are going to raise other men, and I don't know, that perspective just humbles me. I think on a day-to-day basis I wake up and I look at the job that the Lord has presented in front of me, and I'm like, man, what a gift it is that I get to serve as a broken sinner in the kingdom of God. Man, God doesn't need me, but he's going to use me, and I think for the remainder of my time here on staff as well as for the rest of my life, like I'm going to be used until the Lord takes me back up to him. And so with that, I don't know, I just think it's a gift, man. And to do it here too, like I look out at the sunset, I'm like, the worst places to be in this world to share the gospel, and so it's a real gift and opportunity.
Sam, Landon, thanks so much. That was awesome. Hey, my name is Ellis Hammond. I'm one of the former original CO staff guys that moved out here from the East Coast to San Diego. I think the reason that the guys asked me to come and host this segment and introduce these two ladies to you tonight is for two reasons. One, I was the original hype man. When we moved out here, I was the youngest of the CO staff guys, so I brought all the crazy ideas. But I think most importantly, secondly, and probably most important to tonight, is really what my story represents, and the story of these two ladies is that as you're deciding tonight to invest in this ministry or to make a donation to this ministry, the donation or the gift does not end when the need is met, right? It's because you're making an investment into the lives of students who graduate and go and leave a legacy. And so your gift, your investment actually has the opportunity to be multiplied. And so now I was on staff for 6 years. Now we own an alternative investment firm here in San Diego that is literally and has the potential to impact hundreds, if not thousands of lives across the United States. And the same is the case with these two ladies as well. They have graduated, have had a turning point with God in college, and have now turned to the world or turned back to their local churches and are having an amazing impact in the lives of several students. And so I think as you're considering this tonight, I want you to catch that, to realize this, that your gift has the opportunity to be multiplied, to leave a legacy way beyond when the need is met. And so excited tonight to be able to introduce to you Jessica Tilton and Cara Comstock. And so Jess, I want to start with you, and I want to ask two questions to both of you. The first is going to be turning point inward, or upward, I guess, to God, what God's done to you personally, and then turning point outward into the world. And so Jess, why don't you start? Talk about that turning point for you in college where God really got a hold of your heart.
Yeah, so I grew up in the church, and all throughout my youth, I had a fundamental understanding of what it meant to be a Christian, and I know who Jesus is and who God is, and that there's a greater power over my life. And so I think my general understanding was, okay, if I do good things and do things well, then I get to go to heaven. But getting into college and when I became a part of CO, my understanding of the gospel really deepened and strengthened in the fact that I learned more about God's grace and mercy. And for me, that realization through campus outreach and just the community involved with that really helped me truly understand the weight of the cross and what that means for my life, and totally gave me a complete shift in perspective on what it means to be a Christian, not necessarily living out of fear of like doing things well and right and perfect, but living out of acceptance and my identity as a child of God, and how the cross affects my ability to live freely because of that and not out of fear.
I love that. Cara, how about for you, that turning point upward to God?
Yeah, I think a big turning point was attending my first summer leadership project with CO right before transferring to a school outside of San Diego. I was just so impacted by the community and the friendship, deep friendship that was established during that point, that like I just wanted to stay as involved as I could, like despite living in another city. Yeah, and I feel like when people think about campus outreach, they have this idea that it's mostly focused on evangelism and pulling in the insider. And that's true. I feel like there is a strong focus in that. But also what really impacted me was just the community, the Christ-centered community, and the love that they truly have for one another.
Yeah. I love that, right? Because that's so hard for a lot of people coming into college. They don't have that, and you found that through this community. Amazing. All right, so that was the turning point, I guess, inwardly, upwardly to God, right? But what we've kind of been, this idea tonight is when God gets a hold of us, he also, a turning point outward into the world. And so really is, you know, as you're thinking about this tonight, you know, again, this idea of multiplying your investment into not just the college campus, but beyond. Cara, why don't I come back to you and ask that question? How is this now, that turning point that you had in college, how has that impacted what you're doing today? And so describe what you're doing today and how that impacts.
Yeah, totally. So today I am working in high school ministry at my church. And I just feel like the experiences with NCO really helped to foster my desire to cultivate that same Christ-centered love and community within the high school ministry now.
Yeah, great. Jess, how about you?
Yeah, so I relate a lot to Cara because I work in the junior high ministry for my church, and we're actually co-workers, so we spend a lot of time together. And yeah, my experience in CO, especially with that grasping of the gospel, has really motivated me to help 6th through 8th grade students really truly understand what the gospel means for their life. There's a study out there that says like 75% of Christians decide in the 8th grade if they're going to continue to follow Christ for the rest of their life. So that's like a huge turning point for them in 8th grade, and I get to work with 8th graders, and it just really means a lot to me to be able to experience this part of their life with them and share the gospel with them. Because I just wish I'd had that understanding when I was their age, and it wasn't until later in my life that I had that understanding. So I think they're just so fortunate and to understand the gospel the way that they do and ask the questions that they're currently asking.
I love that. So if you're at home and you have an 8th grader or a 7th grader sitting on the couch tonight, you see the importance of this, of like, yes, we're talking about the college campus tonight and your donation there, but the multiplication of that, where Jess has had that experience, had the training, the discipleship, and now both of you are impacting literally people's kids. I mean, this could be your kids if you're here in San Diego. But if not, like, realize and see how this, the legacy that you get to really leave beyond this. And so I want to point your attention to the chat, the live stream. There should be a link in there. We want to see a change. I encourage you to I guess, initiate that change by your giving. Check the live stream for the link, and you can go do that even now. We're going to invite Gijo up here to really recap the night and finish this off. But thank you for being here. Your stories are powerful. I got the opportunity to really do life and be in ministry with you both for a while. So excited to see what God's doing kind of beyond. So thanks for being here tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ellis. Thank you, Jess and Cara, for sharing. What I love about what they just shared was not just the simple fact of the multiplying impact of your gifts, but also the things that are happening right here, right now in our city because of campus outreach that are beyond the college campus into our city and even beyond into the world. So thanks so much. My name is Gijo Joseph, and I get to serve as the Executive Director with Campus Outreach here in San Diego. Thank you for coming. Thank you for spending time on your Sunday with us. Thank you for taking energies and giving gifts of love to see the next generation impacted. The simple fact is, I'm not just here because this is my job. I'm actually here because close to 30 years ago, I was thinking about going to a CO event back in the East Coast, but simply could not afford it. And someone gave to allow me to go to be part of a New Year's conference that changed the trajectory of my life way back then to the fact that I am where I am today. And I've thought many times, man, I wish I could go back and find out who it was that gave and how much they gave and how many other people they impacted. And I want to connect them to so many of the people that were impacted because of me and because of their gift to me. And I can't go back, but I can go forward to talk to you and to invite you to give to the next generations of G-Joes and Ellis's and Sam's and Landon's and Kayla's and so on and so forth. Thank you for partnering with us. Thank you for coming with us. If you're having questions about giving, email KJ at kevin.johnson@campusoutreach.org. I want to share a little bit with you about where your monies are going and how you can give, and then specifically about our annual budget. First, if you go on to cosandiego.org/mogive, you'll see a little button that says General. And under that General, there'll be three options. One is a general fund, which will go to staff needs. The second is virtual fundraising, which goes to our operating funds. And then also finally scholarships, which goes to students and the events that we'll be having. When it comes to that general fund, I want you to know how this works. Many of our staff have needs that have not been stated here, but are in our staff booklet that you'll have gotten. You can see specific needs that are there. If you're not sure who to give to, if you give to the general fund, what happens at the end of the year, we will look at all the monies that are raised, and we'll see our different staff that are in need, and our board will make decisions based on what our greatest needs and where our staff where their staff have needs. As you know, many people in this season are not able to give, and if you're in that place, please know that you are free just to be here to pray for us. Feel no obligation to give whatsoever. But if you can give, know that you are helping our staff stay on the campus, stay connecting to students, stay on virtual connections as well as one-on-ones and small groups. So thank you so much. And as far as the overall budget goes, just so you know that our entire budget annually is about $683,000. $574,000 of that goes towards our 10 staff, their salaries, their benefits, etc. So that leaves about $110,000 in our operating budget. And this goes to help with staff hanging out with students, different events that we have, the meals that we have with students, staff training and development, so on and so forth. And in this season, we've had some unique and greater opportunities, in particular in areas of technology, media, engaging students in a lot of different ways, virtually speaking. We're hoping this time next year to have a new app that we're developing this year that you will be giving to help make happen. So thank you so much for these gifts. What I want to do in the next little bit of time that we have together is I just want to give you just 2 to 3 minutes just to prayerfully consider. I know many of you have come here with an amount in mind or thinking, I want to give. Would you prayerfully consider increasing that gift so that more and more turning points would happen? So in the next few minutes, you get to see just a montage of different students and things that are happening. I'm so thankful for you coming, spending some time with us. Enjoy the next 2 minutes as you prayerfully consider what God might be calling you to give to see more and more turning points upward and outward into this world. Thank you so much again for coming, for spending time with us on your Sunday. Thank you for your investment into campus outreach and to the next generation of people that will continue to see turning point after turning point of what God is doing in their lives. If you would like, please feel free to share this video with any of your friends and family. Thanks again. Have a blessed rest of your 2020. God bless.